Good morning, Gills fans, and welcome back to another Monday review from Gills in the Blood TV with myself and Boz. Looking back at Saturday's frustrating, I think was how we described it as best, wasn't it? Draw with Bury. So it's still the only thing that Steve Lovell hasn't ticked off really on the to-do list, which is beat a team below him in the league. I know
I didn't realise until a couple of people tweeting over the weekend that we haven't, since Charlton, we haven't won a home game in the league.
No, and also, there was another one that I got told yesterday. We've not scored a first half goal in the league at home this season.
Yeah, but how often have we said we've got to score first and we don't? Every time we have scored first.
No, but at the Priestfield, we've not scored one goal in the first 45 minutes. I thought that can't be true, and I had to look through it yesterday on the way to football. It's correct. The earliest I think we've scored is the 54th minute, which was, I think it was 2, which was Charlton and Wigan, quite early second half. Yeah, but apart from that, we've not scored a first half goal. So, only the one
was it
played.
A point game or was it 2 dropped? I think it's a bit of both.
I think
before the game, we were all so confident of a win.
Ask me again in May, I suppose.
I did think it could be very similar.
If we get relegated on goal difference, you say it's 2 dropped, but it's a game we'd have lost under Peter Taylor, and it's probably a game we'd have lost under Adrian Pennock. So in that sense, it was good to see that we came back and nicked a point, because that was the thing at the beginning of the season, that we weren't coming from behind and earning anything.
Too late again, didn't we?
Yeah, another 10 minutes, I think you said we'd have beaten them, wouldn't we? So because we was on top and we'd created plenty. The highlights for me all the time, it always looks like the other team.
It was all bit. My mate watched it at work and he said
it
it's
just
all
got battered again. They've not shown the Parker header, the Eves header.
The one they showed was Claire, wasn't it? From the kick.
In the first half, and Mark Burns missing the second half. But I couldn't get onto the extended highlights yet, it was still locked. So there's our little friend on Matchday Live, who does shout expletives out in this in the middle of it, which is quite funny. 8 years old. But, you know, not my call. Carry on changing. That's the headline on the back page of the Medway Messenger. That's the only paper we're reviewing today. Tinkerman Lovell enjoys solving problems for the Gills. Practice is paying off for Gillingham under caretaker boss Steve Lovell. Gills switched formations 3 times in the first half against Bury on Saturday to finally get going. I don't think they got going in the first half. I have to disagree with that. Second half, when we switched it up and Colin Wilkinson come on, we definitely got going.
Up top second half, yeah.
It worked with a late goal from Josh Parker, rescuing them a point during a 1-1 draw in League One, but Gills Tinkerman Lovell believes it only happened because of the work they put in behind the scenes. I'm not disputing that. There's plenty of work going in, and we definitely look.
Oh yeah, like generally it's been a massive improvement. But Saturday's probably.
I wouldn't say. I think the way that Luke Cordell's worded that sounds like that the changes of formation in the first half, we were shocking. We got worse progressively as the first half went on. Aside from the Sean Clare shot that you've just mentioned, and I think Lee Martin hit one straight down the keeper's right at him, didn't he?
Passed, but he shot straight at him.
But left-footed. That was about it. We'll have a little chat about Lee Martin in a minute, because he's been quite a big topic of conversation on Twitter. On the training ground, these problems come up and I stop in and go through the problems. If I know the problems, I can relate to them and tell them about their roles and responsibilities so they understand what is needed. All the hard work is done Monday to Friday, the enjoyment comes Saturday. If you get it right through the week, then you're all right. We didn't win, but it was a good performance, second half particularly. Again, comes back to what we said.
First half, which is the opposite of what Pennock.
We've got to start playing for 45 minutes, for 90 minutes instead of just 45. Yeah, we keep saying we play well for... I look like I never look happy when we score a goal. I always look like I'm trying to have a fight with someone. It was a 7th league game in charge for Lovell under his interim reign, and he'll be back at the club today preparing for a trip to Walsall. Gills chairman Paul Scally is still fighting the club's corner in the High Court as they battle centre plate for what they feel is right level of compensation following the catering company's walkout in March 2015. The trial continues today.
I think today's D-Day, isn't it?
It's decision day. Nick Ball's tweeted and a couple of others have said that we meant to get the decision. So...
We said at the time, didn't we? He probably...
So what I mean, I'm no sort of... I don't know anything about this type of thing. So they walked out, then they offered us an amount out of court, I believe, something like a few $100,000. Scally wants near 1.5 million. So then what happens if it goes to court and they say, so if they chuck his claim out, do we just get what they originally offered us, or do we lose everything? I'm not sure.
I think we would lose everything. I'm not 100%, I might be totally wrong, but the fact that he's contested it...
You don't, that he's 99% sure that he's
going to
win.
This is why season ticket prices went up, this is why everything's
and the 2-year season ticket deal, and he said at the question and answer session in the summer that he was It was basically won, and it was just waiting for
Australia,
everything to be signed off.
It could make or break the season because it depends whether or not we're going to have funds in January.
If we lose, does it make or break the football club?
Well, yeah, I think it probably does.
That's the way Nick Ball read it last
we
night.
don't
That
have
it's
many
a
sale
massive
assets
day
now,
in
do we?
terms of Gillingham Football Club, not just Gillingham Football Club's season. So you'd hope that Mr. Scully.
Only aside, I don't think we've got any massively saleable assets. I don't think Holy's a massive. I don't think it had to be a massive bid if it did come in.
Too early in the season, we've got a few youngsters, but they're not going to attract massive
No,
amounts of money.
if we're struggling for
Tom Easy's
money,
playing
like,
well, but it's not
before
going to
we'd
be.
have gone, oh, we'll have to sell Dak to get money, but we haven't got a player like that now.
Yeah, but how much, even now, Thomas Holy, how much would you get for him? 150,000 tops?
Realistically, I'd say 250 tops.
He's only had.
He's had 6 good months, no, really. Not even that.
It's not even that. It's August.
4 or 5 good
August,
months.
September, and October. It's 3 months, effectively.
Although
and
we
again,
think he's good, he is still a goalkeeper routine down the bottom.
yeah, we're still third bottom, fourth bottom. Well, we were third bottom. We're now back to fourth bottom because
Yeah, I thought we'd sunk down a place, but now we've gone up a place.
Bury actually went to the bottom, didn't they? Because of the draw. Because Plymouth won and Northampton won, which meant we stayed in, and then Wimbledon drew with Peterborough yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll have a chat about that as well. Obviously, there was one of our ex-friends in there, and another incident which you're chuckling about. You've seen it on Twitter as well. It was embarrassing to the highest level. Gills deserved their crucial point. That's the match report inside and some pictures. The full-time whistle came too early for Gills on Saturday. It had been third time lucky for caretaker boss Steve Lovell as he juggled his side's formation during a tricky opening half. Once the Gills got it right tactically, they grew into a match, finally getting a deserved equaliser late on. With a bit more time on the clock, they might have even had a winner. We said that. Another 10 minutes, I think we'd have beaten them. They suddenly looked, from being the side first half where they had plenty of time on the ball and they was knocking it around, and we said on the match day live, Rohan Ince and Neil Dans were running the show. They were both big, they were quick, they were good with it. Neil Dans obviously scored a really good goal.
They both had a brilliant day, and our centre-mids had a very rare bad day.
That was the thing, that made the gap look even bigger. I don't think that, I'm not saying Dans and Ince are that much better than Mark Byrne and Jake Hessenthaler, but because they were very good and both of ours, like you say, were below their best, it looked like the golfing class.
Maybe they weren't as bad as we think, but because they've been so good recently, maybe everyone's hearts will jump.
Yeah, it raises the bar, doesn't it, like anything, like Tom Eaves scoring goals, Josh Parker scoring goals. So, but I said to someone on Facebook, credit to Jake Hessenthaler and Mark Byrne, they weren't at their best, but not once did they stop running, not once did they stop trying to put their foot in, and not once did they stop trying to make things happen. And in that sense, it's still a decent enough performance, and we've got what we deserved. I don't think we deserve to lose the game.
No.
I think both managers have come out and said,
fair,
well, Lovell said, oh, we've done enough second half, but I said, Saturday, I think Ryan Lowe comes out and said they probably think they've done enough first half.
Making it 3 or 4 up at half time.
Game's over if Michael Smith or Nicky Ajose take one of their chances, the game's finished, and then they had the one that Smith hit and Ajose got in the way, that's going in as well. So the game could have been over at half time. So if you're going to be say that one side maybe should have won it more, you probably have to edge towards them because it'd have killed the game off.
Because again, we had chances without putting their keeper under a lot of pressure, which you do that a lot.
No, he's made 2 routine saves from the headers, hasn't he?
One very good save.
There was another one that who was the one where he got up to it and shoved it over the bar?
Was it a header from the back post?
As well?
I think it was a corner, someone from the back post knocked it back.
And then we had Hesse lofted one onto the top of the net, but he's not had to make all the saves he's made. You'd expect him to make, rather than he's made not like the Northampton game where he pulled off a couple of worldies. But yeah, it was definitely a point well earned. Match day live's finished. You'll have to apologise for that. We do apologise for that in the background. That's the kids' YouTube channel now coming on. Gillingham's desperation meant they were open at the back, and Ajose nearly capitalised, lashing a shot at goal, denied only by a strong hand from.
I thought it was off the post.
We thought it was a goal kick. No, that was the one. No, you know the one when Ogilvie sort of dived in right at the end and it flew over the top, and we went, that weren't a corner. They're saying Holy must have got hands on it then. When then that's a very good save. So that stops it from going to 2-0. The Gills kept the pressure on and were finally rewarded when Parker met Martin's corner and powered his header down past Fazan. Overall, the Gills could have done a lot better, but a point is better than a defeat. Can't argue with that at all. Tom Eaves, we are on the right path. That's the next page. Massive point, insists Lovell. Physical approach pays off for Gills. Player ratings. I haven't got ours to hand, but they went Holy 6, Sean Clare 7, Luke O'Neill, Amar 6, and Ogilvie 6. Burn 6, Hess 5, List 5, Martin 6, Parker 6, Eve 7. So they've agreed with us, Tom Eaves man in a match, as did the sponsors. I think, again, I can't say it enough, he's been absolutely first class.
It keeps proving us wrong. I just wish he would stay in that penalty box. The amount of times I say to you, he's out wide again.
Yeah, and especially like we mentioned again, we referring back to the match day live, but second half he didn't notice it so much because we had Connor Wilkinson to aim at. But first half, if he just out wide or pulls deep, you was aiming at Elliot List.
Out wide, but I'd just rather him be in the box for the crosses.
Because you want him to be on the end of them crosses. Because how many he scored? What, 7, and at least 4 of them have got to be with his head. He scored with his feet against Charlton and his feet against Leighton Orient.
Yeah.
And the penalty against Southend. So the rest was 4 headers. It was 2 headers against Southend, a header against Wigan.
He might be being told to do it. If he's not, then that's probably the only fault you can really say of him at the moment. He's not.
It's not even a criticism because you can't blame someone for wanting to go and get the ball and wanting to do stuff. But yeah, it's just when them crosses come into the box, you want him trying to head them in rather than Elliot List, who's about a foot shorter, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, so talking about Tom Eaves, striker Tom Eaves believes Saturday's point against Bury was another step in the right direction. The draw lifted Gillingham place to 21st in the League One table until AFC Wimbledon drew with Peterborough the following day. It was a hard-fought point, said Eaves. They had a few good spells in the first half, but we changed the formation and felt that worked well for us. Goes on a bit more. We dominated the second half. It was a great point for us though, and hopefully we can snowball from there. It was a bit ugly, a bit scrappy, but we got the point. We didn't get beaten. Now we have to go to Walsall next Saturday and put on a performance. We don't want to be in the drop zone, but we just have to keep performing and results will go our way. That's the thing. Again, we go back to Steve Lovell. Is he the right man for the job? It'd be great if a proven League One manager suddenly became available. But the names that we're being linked to, I don't want.
I think a lot of it comes down to the centre plate case.
It could do.
Because if we go back to Evans, who was still my first choice, he needs money. He doesn't go anywhere without money.
But again, he's not ideal, is he, in terms of who he is?
Oh,
I know if he gets his results
and wins
football matches,
I think it's unfair to not give it to him because you're looking at a fourth manager.
So we've taken 8 points from 15, so that's 8 points from 5 games under Lovell. So if you work that out, that means we had 7 points from 12 games under the other 2. So like you've said, it'd be massively harsh if he doesn't get in there. I mean, it'd be wonderful if someone like a Chris Powell suddenly said he wants the job and he'd do it for 50 quid a week or something stupid. But
he was on the Sky Sports report the other day and he said he's turned down 2 offers.
He was talking about, cause I think he was praising David Wagner, wasn't he, at Huddersfield, obviously one of his ex-clubs. But we could be doing a lot worse. I mean, he's given us a chance.
If we lose the case, then it's Lovell all day long, I think.
Can we even afford Lovell then?
That's the thing, I don't think he's going to be on a lot of money. I imagine he's still on coach money, he's not on management money, which will not be.
He can't be yet, no, unless they say until the end of the season, then he might get some sort of raise.
Bookies do play out, don't they, at 10 games of a caretaker. So
which is why he's probably so short odds on there, because he's now only got 3 to go, hasn't he? But yeah, it's good to see Tom Eaves. Josh Parker's mentioned in there as well, 13 now between them.
Yeah, Parker, we keep saying, he seems to be improving week after week, although this week he's a bit frustrating, wasn't he?
There was just a couple of times I thought he was overplaying. He sort of beat his first man and then tried to do another trick where he could have offloaded and then got himself into a dangerous area and looked for a return ball. But you can't argue that. Where would we be without their goals in the last 3 games? They're the only 2 scorers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because Parker Saturday, excluding Reading, last week was Leighton Orient, Eaves and Parker, and the week before was 2 Parker, 1 for Eaves. Bless you. Gills trophy tie. We've been drawn at home to Oxford in the Checker Trade Trophy. The Gills finished top of their group, meaning they got a guaranteed title at Priestfield, and that takes place week commencing December the 4th. It now means the Maidstone game's been shoved back a week to the 12th, but it could be moved again if we draw at home to Carlisle in the FA Cup, and that FA Cup replay goes in there. So the Kent Cup games.
Replaying that, do you?
That Kent Cup game, no, that'd be a Tuesday night, and that is a million miles away. Fair play to anyone who looks at doing that. Nash's loan. We all know went on a week. He went to Leatherhead, scored in the week against Folkestone in Victor, and I think he scored again Saturday, didn't he? They lost again.
3-2, I think this week.
2-0 up as well. Bradley Stevens was another one. He's gone on loan to Tunbridge Angels for a month, so that's good to see. Get some game time into them. Physical approach pays off for Gills. The half-time switch in attack paid off for Gillingham caretaker boss Steve Lovell. He was keen on injecting a bit more of a physical approach up top against Bury, replacing Elliot List with Connor Wilkinson. Let's talk Connor Wilkinson. Thought it was very good.
Yeah, I've slayed him a lot, but that was the first time I said to you, it was the first time I've watched him and he hasn't been rubbish.
He come on and his attitude just instantly looked a lot better than what compared to what we've seen. I think it's the way he runs as well and carries himself, which doesn't help. And some players run like that. He just looks like he's just not interested. But he was closing down. He was chasing down lost causes and stuff like that, and putting himself about. Yeah, and he's got himself. He's lashed a couple wide and 1 over, but at least
At least he's having the confidence to take a shot.
He's got the confidence to have a shot at the moment,
shoot,
yeah. And he just needs one to go in, and hopefully Tuesday will have helped him. Regardless, again, it's like the Liam Nash thing at the beginning of the season. Goalposts don't move, goals are goals.
No, yeah.
So regardless of if it's in League One or the
So
Super
you
Training.
miss out having the under 23 team in the league, don't you?
You have to just play like friendlies and stuff, which aren't the best. So, but that was good to see. That's pretty much everything. We're just going to go through the results in League One and start wrapping this up. Saturday, in alphabetical order as always, Blackpool 2, Portsmouth 3, an absolute thriller there. I think Mr Pittman got a couple in that game. Portsmouth, I think, were trying to stop themselves from losing 4 on the bounce for the first time for about 5 seasons, so they did that. Bradford 0, Plymouth 1. There's your shock of the weekend. Did not see that coming at all. Did not help us at all. But it's a great result for Plymouth, and that's a fair old trek for their fans to go up there and to see a win would have been brilliant.
They travel well as well.
Yeah, they do. They are well supported. Doncaster 1, Rotherham 1 was the live game Saturday, wasn't it? I think that was another late equaliser.
Very had his last touch, I think.
Kiefer Moore again, so he's up to 13 or 14 for the season now. Gills 1, Bury 1, we've already done. MK Dons 1, Fleetwood 0. Fleetwood very in and out again. MK Dons just starting to pick up again. But it's just so tight. MK Dons are still like 14th. But they're only 4 points off the playoffs. Oxford 1, Northampton 2 was probably a bit of a shock again. Scunthorpe 1, Bristol Rovers, but that was late and all. I see that yesterday. I got Neil Bishop in the 96th minute or something, yeah. And yesterday, AFC Wimbledon 2, Peterborough 2. Cody McDonald's first league goal for Wimbledon. But again, the result didn't help us because it meant they went above us. But I mean, it's good to see him get off the mark in the league. But he's always going to be loved down at the Priestfield. He'll always get a good reception.
He loves his
After Christmas, he starts to get going. So yeah, but we don't want him to get going too much if it's a choice between us and Wimbledon staying in the bottom 4, unfortunately. Performance of the week, I'm just going to go Plymouth. I think I'm not going to look at too many other individuals.
You said about Lee Martin.
Yes, Lee Martin, captain, player. He frustrated you massively Saturday. There was a few saying he's not fit to be captain. I thought that was a bit harsh at the weekend.
My thing with him being captain is he's just a bit too reckless. Like, you always think he's going to lunge in, he's going to get him ready there.
We've said plenty of times watching games, and I've said to you, I go, he's just starting to tick, and you just think, like, exactly that. Is he just going to jump in and cause himself an issue?
You see, there's a couple of times where he's beaten, like, similar to Parker, where he's beaten one man, tried to beat a second, and right, I said to you, he went to beat Luke Norris, didn't he?
Yeah.
He loses it, and then rather than trying to win back, he stands and goes.
Yeah.
And then tries to go at someone else.
There was one Saturday, weren't there, where Conor Wilkinson got to the byline, Lee Martin's meandering across to the D, instead of trying to get across his centre after the 6-yard line.
He's not even looking, is he? He's looking. And
then he berates Conor Wilkinson for shooting. Well, there's no one in the 6-yard box. What else is Conor Wilkinson going to do? And we're not massive fans of Conor Wilkinson, so we're not going to sit here like he's our favourite player or our mate. We're not just, bigging him up for the sake of it. And the other one that frustrated you Saturday was where he cut it back and he's shooting and he's not even looking at the goal. And all he's had to do is stand it up far post, and we've got players overloaded at the far stick.
To the box, aren't he?
Yeah, and he's blazed it into the Rainham
there and he goes straight.
And it ends up in the top of the Rainham, and you just think,
I'll get you all to glory in that, but come on, you captain. I don't think he's.
Does he start? For me, I'm not sure he even starts when everyone's fit. Because
I'm never going to have everyone fit. It's not looking like it.
Because for me, if we get everyone fit, Luke O'Neill plays right back in this system, and then we play 2 centre halves and we play a left back. He doesn't play centre mid, and in that case, I would play Sean Clare number 10. You can't drop Josh. You can't drop Josh Parker from the left because he's scoring goals. Elliot Liss provides pace. He needs a goal, granted. And you ain't dropping the big man up front, are you? So for me, if everyone's fit, it's debatable whether he gets in the starting 11 at the moment. And I'm not digging him out for the sake of it. He's been very good since Lovell's taken over. He's scored 2 in that time, and he's been involved in other good moments.
So frustrating.
Where he just thinks because I'm captain, I've got to take responsibility and do it myself. But he's overdoing it.
At the same time, if you're overdoing it, don't be having to go at someone 12 yards away.
For having a shot because you're coasting into the box rather than busting your arse to get in the 6-yard box. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like Charlton and Connolly, wasn't it? The away game where he was having a poor game, but he held his hands up and he'd start.
Yeah, I thought the abuse he got that game was really harsh because considering that was like 6 weeks after he come back from injury as well. But now he's fully fit, so we can't keep saying that as an excuse. For me, maybe he's just trying to do too much because he's skipper, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but we'll keep an eye on it. Something to discuss, Gills fans. Have a chat with us on the Facebook page later or whatever on Twitter. But we're going to start wrapping it up. Thanks for watching as always, and until next time, up the Gills.